Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you real quick on how to find a good article for your microorganism topic. Don't forget that topic, it is due in 10 days, so it's due not this Thursday but the following Thursday, September 26th. Don't forget to submit it, and remember that your organisms are first come first serve. So let's say if you wanted to do the influenza virus and somebody has already picked it, unfortunately you won't be able to do it. So just remember first come first serve. So let's get started. So you just open up your web browser. You can go to the Alamo colleges, so alamo.edu. We're going to go to our campus, so we're going to go to Northwest Vista. And then up here in the right top corner there's menu, so you're going to select menu. If it wants to drop down, whoopsies. And then you're going to select library. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to scroll down until you see library resources, and you're going to select databases. And then from there you're going to also scroll down again at this list of databases. So we are science and biologicals, so we're going to select that one. You can select any of these databases. They all work pretty much the same, but my personal favorite is Science Direct, as well as Academic Search Complete. They tend to give you the more, they're a little bit more better at generating articles in my opinion, and you tend not to have to be more specific in your searches. You can be pretty general and still find a really good article. So we're just going to use Academic Search Complete in this video. So what you're going to do is that you're going to put in your ACES username, so whatever your ACES username is, and then your banner ID, whatever it may be. And you're going to log in. And then what we're going to do, so we can get a more specific search, we're going to go to Advanced Search. And then you're going to type in your subjects that you want. So let's say that I wanted to do the herpes simplex virus. So you'll just type in the topic. And let's say I wanted something more specific in vaccine development, or whatever it may be with you. You can literally just type in an organism and you can probably still get a good result. And then you're going to scroll down that you want a full text, meaning that you can get the whole article, so you don't just want part of the article, you want all of it. And then you want something that's called peer-reviewed, meaning that it has been looked over by other scholars and it's been verified that what is in the article is true, as well as publication dates. So publication dates, guys, I want a narrow field. I don't want an article more than ideally 3 years old, but I will allow up to 5 if it's something a little bit more taboo. It's like if it's like an amoeba or something that rarely causes disease, I will allow up to 5, but ideally no more than 3. So we're going to go 3 years back. So we are in September, and we're going to say no more than 2016 up until current. So September of 2019. And then what you're going to do is scroll down and then say search. So what you can do is that you can just like kind of like look over the titles, and you can sometimes they'll even give like a little brief description right here, like what's some key terms that might be in the article. So you can always open them. I'm actually going to open the first one because it doesn't look too terrible, but you don't have to go with the first one, guys. Definitely scroll through the list. So if you select it and then you scroll down, a lot of times Alamo colleges, they'll put up something that's called the abstract, which is pretty much a summary of the article. So you can read that, so you don't have to open the entire article to see if it even like sparks your fancy. And if it does, then what you can do is scroll back up and click on this link right here that says PDF full text. As it loads, guys. And then it will pull up the entire article, which is really nice. So a key thing that you want to look at if you see an article like this, the key points that I look for whenever y'all send me this, that I'm looking for to see if it's a good article, is to see if it says research article or primary article or anything like that. If it says review article, I'm going to automatically send it back to you, because that means the people who wrote that paper actually didn't conduct any experiments, and I want a primary research article. So a lot of times they'll say research article somewhere on the first page, and then what I will most likely do is read the abstract part, and then if I see that the abstract it sounds sound and everything, what I'll do is also continue to scroll, and I will go directly to the results portion and look at the figures to see, are they good figures? Like, they're not just something that the researchers pulled out of their bum and just put together. So I definitely prefer like figures like this. I have a hard time with allowing people to do tables because tables are very difficult to interpret, as well as sometimes they don't even tell you that much. Whereas like these guys, these are very easily to distinguish. They're very aesthetically pleasing. So this article looks pretty good. So you don't have to have a lot of figures in your article. Ideally have a minimal of like 3 to 5. If you find an article that has like 12, I would say that's a little excessive, but if you want to tackle it, go for it, guys. But just remember, in your review, you don't have to include every little detail. It's supposed to be a brief summary, no more than like 3-ish pages single spaced, so that's roughly like 6 to 7 pages double spaced. So if you find one that has like a noodle amount of figures, then I would say find another one that's a little bit more shorter, a little bit more condensed, and a little bit more manageable. But if you do want a challenge, by all means, I'm not going to tell you don't take the challenge. So I'm going to show you one more time on how to do the refined search. So what you can do is you can go back to the results list, and if you change your microorganism, like if you didn't, like, so I chose herpes simplex. If you didn't want to do herpes simplex anymore, you can literally leave all this sidebar over here, like your refined criteria that you want, and just scroll back up and select something else. So let's say you're interested in the plague or something, so you can literally type in plague, and then you can just take out vaccine and just say plague, and then see what that comes up with. And then what you can do is just scroll and see how, if anything like sparks your interest. Ideally try to get something where it infects humans as well. So if it does infect multiple species, that's perfectly fine, but make sure that it does specifically infect the human species. So definitely make sure that it does infect us, because we want it to be relevant to us, because we are going to be future nurses. So we definitely want it to be relevant. So let's just look at this one for funsies. So I actually want to try to find an article that I don't like so y'all can see. So actually this is a pretty decent article as well. Like, these figures are pretty okay. But like I said, the tables, I'm okay with tables, but if majority of their paper is tables, it's good, but it's also, it's just kind of gross to try to interpret, whereas like a bar graph or a line graph is much easier to be like, oh, there's a peak there, rather than having to read across several columns. But this paper is also okay, but it does have a lot of tables, so maybe not. But yeah, just make sure that you fit that criteria. If you have any more questions, definitely ask me in class. I will be going over this in class again, probably during lab tomorrow afterwards. So definitely ask questions. If you got it, send it to me. So that's another thing, guys, I forgot to mention. So I do want you to send me the article. So what you need to do is that you'll scroll up on where you see the PDF view, and you'll click this arrow, which will download it, and then that download I want you to attach to an email so I can look over the article to approve it. So definitely do that before the deadline. And then I think that wraps up this video. We'll go over it again in class, so don't worry. And then if you want me to sit down with you and we can find an article together, that's perfectly fine as well. But if not, I will see y'all tomorrow, and have a good night.